All right. Well, welcome everyone. Excited to have you here with one of my favorite people in the world, Christian Weatherspoon. He is a husband and a new father. So send him some love and feel free to ask about his son and let him gush about that for a minute or two. He's just a great all-around guy. He knows marketing, he knows technology, he knows all about video. And I told him we're gonna cover everything. We want to talk about the people who are just starting out, maybe don't have any money for marketing, and those who want to buy into a marketing system. And he's going to share a lot with us. And I encourage everyone, please throw your questions his way. He's done a lot of different deals, a lot of different ways, and he can talk to you about it. He certainly has walked the talk. So with all that, please help me welcome the awesome, amazing Christian Weatherspoon.
Well, thank you, everybody. And I have my iPad here, and please excuse my handwriting. I want to make sure everybody can see it because from my end, I'm scrolling and I can see it scroll. That introduction was great. He's a tech guy, and as you're saying that, I'm seeing a little bit of hanging up with the iPad on my screen. So can you guys see it? Is it shared properly?
We see the iPad, we don't see it scrolling. We just see the hello, mastering your marketing machine.
All right, well, let's fix that then, shall we? I will get to it in another way if we need to, no big deal. I have a backup if this doesn't work. And this is ultimately what we're gonna cover today is the marketing machine. The first as a high level overview, because we know that generating leads, I'm sure we can think of ways, and we're going to talk about that in a second, is it could be a complex topic or it could be a super simple topic. To be frank, there's ways that are low cost, just like you said, and there's ways that are kind of in the middle. But if you guys can see this, we'll get this thing started. Hopefully you can. It looks like it might be working now.
It's coming up. It's just a little blurry. There we go. Hello. Thank you. All right.
Working. All right. So I'm still presuming that it is actually.
It's not scrolling.
Okay, so it is tethered. I'm going to try and tether, and if not, I'm going to get to it on my computer and just present this from the computer. How about that?
That works.
Okay. Via cable.
All right, looks like we have some new people joining us, some who haven't been here too often. Jeff Stemmerman, hey Stem, great to see you here. Awesome to have you, and hello Pam.
Hi guys, great to see you too.
Yeah, how you been?
Thanks, good. Thanks, great.
Good. And Stem, you're working with Christian, is that correct?
I am. Yeah, we're doing
awesome.
Managing a lot of his marketing.
Awesome. All right. And Pam, where are you? Pam and her other Mike are traveling cross country. Where are you now?
We're actually in Idaho right now.
Idaho. Okay.
Yeah. Till tomorrow.
Back where it all started, at least from when I first met you.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
We're going to Oregon tomorrow.
Hi, Rihanna. How you doing? What's up, Sam?
Do you have a spot you plan to end at, or are you just going to keep moving?
Keep going till we decide we have a spot. Just buying real estate and moving on.
There you buying real estate and moving on. So what's the last property you bought?
One in New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire, okay. And let's talk marketing. How'd you find your property?
Oh, that particular one I found through a real estate agent. She brought it to me. Yep.
Was it on market or off market? I mean, was it like a pocket listing or?
No, we found this one. Well, she was bringing us pocket listings, anything she could find, but this particular one was.
It's on the MLS.
Yeah, it was listed on the MLS. Yeah. Okay. But she's still working for us. We still get stuff from her regularly from there. Yeah.
It's our VRRR.
RRR, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to just share my computer for now, everyone, so we can just get going on. But by the way, Pam, it's super cool to see both of you here, and congratulations. That's awesome. I know that when you started, you were still working at Fortune Builders, and that I was super excited for your journey there as well. So I'm just going to
Yes.
share my screen, guys, and
All right.
so this
There we go.
this is me. Obviously, I appreciate everybody being on. We're going to talk about marketing, and I'm from Fortune Builders, long time. I've been there a while, but ultimately, as part of what we're talking about, I'm going to uncover the number one thing that's working for us in our business, real estate funnel systems. And as you know and heard, we have Mr. Jeff Stemmerman on here, and he is working with me in real estate funnel systems. And I mean, the tagline is really what we do. It's helping you scale your real estate business. So I want to enlighten you a little bit more. You gave me a really great introduction. I appreciate that, Michael. I want to live up to that. Who the heck are you? Well, I've been investing since 2013. I helped develop the Fortune Builders curriculum. I think many of you are familiar with Fortune Builders here on this call. And I've also been a speaker, a coach, and a trainer. And I'm the co-founder of Real Estate Funnel Systems. But that my number one superpower is now I'm a new dad, and that's me and the little guy and my wife and I. But this is one heck of a segue. This is my super smooth segue into the actual topic at hand. Let me ask you, everybody, what's your problem? What's your problem? What do you think are your biggest challenges in marketing? Just spit them out. Let's get the top 3-ish.
Well,
You
I'm going
guys can
to
either you can unmute yourself or just type it in the chat box.
More qualified leads.
qualified leads, right? Not just leads, but qualified leads.
Yep.
I like that. More qualified leads.
Okay. Who else? Give me a problem or a challenge. Or does everyone have all of the deals they not sure how to start? Good, Wally. Okay, how do I get started?
Okay. I like that. And I'm writing all these down to address them in a way here. So that's, I mean, we can stop there. I have more, and actually that's what I wanted to talk about. There's a number one problem. But what I've really discovered is with the problems that we see, sometimes they're not really problems. So we're going to put a pin in the number one problem and just talk about, what the greater symptoms are, because that's really what these things are that as they show up. What I've seen show up all the time is the first one, and you guys write this down because you're not seeing me on the iPad write this. The first one is impatience. Okay, frankly, that is regarding results, because results sometimes take a while, especially with direct mail or door knocking, right? And it's easy to be impatient when we don't have enough leads and we're getting slow response rates. And what I found is that this usually develops as a result of symptom number 2, it's inconsistency. So that's inconsistency regarding 3 specific things that I encourage you to write down as well. The strategy that you're approaching marketing in the first place, your budget in and of itself, and the metrics that you're choosing to track or not track. Okay. If anybody has ever had trouble tracking metrics or understanding, it's this guy that's speaking to you. I have tried to track multiple metrics and got overwhelmed, but there's one key metric that we really need to track and be cognizant of so that we can gauge whether or not this marketing method is working for us or if it's working against us. Okay. So a lot of that is how many touches, how often, how, especially with direct mail, again, how long does it take? How do you continue to do it? And the budget thing, you need to be able to get a budget that's sustainable. Many people, when they don't do that, they spray and pray $5,000 here, and then 5 months goes by and then they for nothing. They have no marketing budget. It would be better to spread that out, whether it's $100 or $1,000 every single month to these different marketing tactics. Now, the third, I would say, leads to a symptom, and this is the biggest symptom, I think, is inaction. So inaction, if you see inconsistent results, if you're feeling impatient because of all of these things, it can lead to inaction. And you, like me, have probably heard all of these, or maybe you've thought this before. This marketing method is confusing and doesn't work. I don't understand it. Or this marketing method is too expensive. Or this marketing method doesn't work in my area, or whatever. And again, even inaction is a symptom of a bigger problem, and we'll uncover that right now. But I am curious, which symptom do you think is worse? Inaction, inconsistency, or impatience? Which one's worse?
Inconsistency.
Inconsistency. Anybody else?
I agree. Inconsistency.
So
Inaction.
I think inaction is the worst, and that's because you can take action and be inconsistent, but if you're not taking any action at all, you don't even have an opportunity to be inconsistent. But we want to get past that and show you that we don't need to be asking these things. This marketing method is too confusing, because we want to simplify it. That's the most important thing in my mind. I need something that's simple. You know, I can't continue to do something if it's overcomplicated, or I need a degree to try and understand how to use it. That includes a CRM when we're using to nurture the leads that we got, right? From prospects to leads. So I'll uncover that right now. And it's really no secret. You guys are probably going to get this right away. The actual problem is a wrong system, or not having one at all, and not using it, not taking action. So ultimately, I want to make sure that by the time we're done with this short training, that we're successful. And what it looks like to me, and you guys tell me if you agree, is that you would know what tools and marketing methods you can use to successfully generate motivated seller leads with a low cost per lead. Can we agree that that would be a successful training if you walked away with that understanding?
Absolutely.
Okay. And to know what next steps to take and implement these tools in your business. Would we call that a successful training if we knew what next steps to take? Okay.
Yes.
I would add one more to truly succeed, and that is know what taking action to succeed actually looks like, and then implementing it. Because it's not enough for us to know, like, oh, okay, cool, so I'm going to go book that call, or I'm going to go to this website and sign up, but actually using these tools, because there's a lot of terrible marketing campaigns that have taken place inside of what we use and have success with, because inconsistency, right? Rayana, you said that inconsistency is probably the worst. You're right. It is. If you're taking action and it's inconsistent, the only other thing that's worse is inaction. So I just want you guys to know that my promise is I will take action. I will be there to help you guys. In fact, I kind of hinted towards the fact that you can talk to our team. This is something that, you know, I love Rihanna. I love Michael. These guys are awesome to even call me up and say, hey, share this stuff with our group. So I'm really excited. And I want to just say thanks. And one way to say thanks is get on with our team to learn more about how to implement the tools that I'm going to discuss, and just following the method that we do. There's also other things that you can make purchases for, but ultimately what we're talking about, this is a no sales thing. There's nothing here other than like investing in a tool that is better than the one you're currently using, that I would recommend, because it's what not only I have success with, but it's what all of our clients at Real Estate Funnel Systems have success with, right? Our ideal client is somebody who is involved in real estate and has been for a while, and they're looking to get better at closing transactions and actually get more lead flow. So there's no shortage of lead flow that can be had using these tools, and we'll get into them here in a second. So I just want you guys, if you could type yes in the chat box, I'm looking at it right now. Can you agree that you're going to take action and implement as a result of this training to follow this success path?
Yes.
Like the verbal, thank
Not
you.
typing, I'm holding a baby, so.
I totally understand, 100%.
Then lots of yeses.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So we're gonna get right to it. I want you guys to start with this premise and understanding, and really believe this. You'll discover that this is true, and many of you may already know this is true. All marketing works under the right conditions, and some better than others, right? So we already know the common marketing, the traditional marketing. By the way, we're going to get to our preferred marketing on the next slide. But some of these that we've had success with before, just throw out a couple of them. Again, I'll write them down over here so I can revisit them for you. What kind of cost marketing?
For sale by owners.
Okay, yeah, but for sale by owners, how? That's the niche. So we're looking at for sale by owners, how are we going to reach out to them? I would say door
Connect
knock,
I've texted them, texting.
texting. Who said texting?
I did.
Mike.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I personally love texting. These traditional marketing methods, hopefully one day texting will be a traditional marketing method. I mean, if I have anything to say about it, because that is actually, spoiler alert, one marketing method that works very well for us and gives us an average cost per lead of $25 to $50 in most markets across the country. So that begs the question.
Bandit
what's the
signs.
cost?
Oh,
What's that?
sorry. Bandit signs.
I love that. Bandit signs. Who's done bandit signs, by the way? Okay. I see you, Melissa. You've done bandit signs. I'm watching. You guys are over here. Presentations here. But bandit signs, how many people have gotten a phone call from bandit signs and it wasn't even anybody that was a prospect? It was just, hey, this is the authority. You need to take your sign down or I'm going to fine you. Andrew?
Yeah, usually it's another investor. So bandit signs are good for building a buyer's list.
Yep. And you know, you're marketing for
people
contractors.
trolling.
Yeah, you're marketing for buyers too. So, I mean, can they work? Yes. Why? Because, you know, by a show of hands, I never saw because a lot of you aren't on camera, but this is what I believe. All marketing works under the right conditions and some better than others. So yes, all of these things work, and the cost per lead is something we have to really take into consideration, as I mentioned before. In fact, it's one of our top metrics to track. So who here wants to tell me what your average cost per lead for your marketing campaign is?
It's good.
Yeah,
Go
Mike?
ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'd say about $4.
$4 cost per lead. Wow. I need to know what you're doing. You
Oh,
should
when
be-
I break it down from what I paid to get into the system and how many I actually get, it's about $4. And that's even with me licking a stamp and mailing it.
a $4 cost per lead. What's your average ROI on in your market? I'm curious.
It's right now, it actually hasn't been that great. I've sent out a ton of letters in recent months and got very little response. You know, I got some people that were that were in trouble. I got my information off the CI, Connected Investors, and it's like a lot of the information wasn't really current. You know, I was like, I was in trouble before, but I'm not in trouble now. I got my house out of foreclosure and I'm okay.
Okay. So typically you're saying now how you're contacting those people, I didn't exactly hear that you're getting.
I'll do it in a combination of texting,
Yep.
direct mail, emailing, and yeah, that's basically what we've been doing.
Okay. So $4 cost per lead. That's a really good cost per lead. I've been checking and measuring our cost per lead for over 30 different markets with real estate funnel systems, and the best we've been able to do is 25. So I would love to talk to you after this to understand how you're getting a $4 cost per lead, because we're sending out, and I'll show you the metrics actually. That's part of what I have here to show you consistently, you know, week over week. We're tracking it for all of our clients. So I'm going to expose that to you. What are some other costs per leads that we see typically with, like, say, just direct mail on average?
We're a small group, guys, so don't be shy. You can, if you're shy about speaking on camera, go ahead and just jump in.
So I don't know about everyone else, but our direct mail cost per lead is $295. So something ain't right, in my opinion.
That didn't last very long for us.
Yeah, Justin, Alexis, I appreciate you sharing that. That could be normal. I guess it always depends on the market that you're in. And direct mail, again, it works. I mean, I've done deals off of direct mail. The first deal I ever did was off direct mail, and mine was about $200 cost per lead after everything was said and done. So it's not uncommon. What I see is uncommon, and like I said, I'm gonna talk to you, Pam and Mike, is $4 cost per lead as a total for all of your marketing campaigns, which is incredible. So all that said, we'll get down to our preferred marketing. You mentioned it also that your text message marketing is what you prefer, and so do I. What platform are you using for texting? Pam, what are you guys using? You're muted, Pam.
Well, we have our own platform.
Okay. Own platform, proprietary. Does anybody else do text message marketing?
Hey, so Christian, I just want to do a time check because we talked about this last night. We're at 25 minutes in already.
Okay.
And I know you've got a lot of stuff to get to, so it may just be you need to just give us some stuff and tell us instead of just so we can make sure we hit everything.
Yeah, I got you. So texting really is number one on what I would recommend doing. And that's what we're seeing. And I was going to show you those statistics and stuff. And the platform that we're using is called Launch Control. I don't know if has anybody heard of Launch Control before? There's Text Magic. There's a dozen or so of them out there specifically geared towards real estate investors, but also there's general. Does anybody know about Launch Control?
No.
Nobody. Okay. So there's a couple things that I would encourage you guys to do is if you're interested in understanding more about text messaging, I have a lot of trainings on it on our YouTube channel, which I can send you over, but it's just youtube.com/real estate funnel systems. And then you can go to the playlists, and in the playlist, there's a lot on Launch Control, SMS, text message marketing software. And I don't know why that's in Tagalog right there, but this is one that we found because we were struggling in the same way that I know that many of you were. You said $292 for direct mail. This is instantaneous, so it solves a lot of issues. It solves the issue of the waiting. You don't have to worry about, continuing to wait for a response and did they even get it? Did they throw it away? And our cost per contact is fractions of cents. So that's something that we've really found is beneficial for texting in general. I would suggest two other ways, and that is, you see I have Google Ads up, so we're doing Google ad videos, right? And we're getting about the same as far as cost per conversion. So we spent right down here, if it's a little small, guys, forgive me, $10,831. We got 309 conversions. And this particular campaign is not for seller leads. We're doing the same thing for seller leads. And the price points for when we actually close those leads are average price profits. We're doing in San Diego, $40,000 to $50,000, $60,000 wholesale deals right now, which is likely going to slow down because those are home runs, right? Those are out of the parks.
Okay.
What's that? My business partner had said, wow, this is incredible. Like we should wholesale all the time. And I said, this is not typical. A $20,000 wholesale deal is normal.
Okay. Hey, Christian, so I'm going to jump in. I want to do a little Q&A with you because this is getting into the weeds right now. And I want to start because I know we've got some people who don't have their first deal yet.
You got it.
And I want to see what we can do to help them as well. And I would say, trying to track cost per lead when you don't yet have a deal and you're just trying to get leads coming in, there may not be a lot to track. So what would you recommend someone starting out? They've invested money, let's say in some education and training programs. They don't have money to put into marketing. They need to do it, low and no budget. Where would you have them start?
I would recommend starting the same two places that I started, and that I know a lot of students who I've directed to start there found their first deals. And that is lick 'em, stick 'em campaigns, direct mail, but with niche lists. stacking multiple levels of motivation, right? I was going after code violations lists, cross-referencing them against foreclosure, pre-foreclosures. And then I would send out 100 at a time because I didn't have the money to do any more than that or the time.
Right. And so let's even drill down. So if you're sending out 100 at a time, first of all, 100 times 50 cents a stamp. Someone do math for me quickly, please.
Oh man, that was my life.
Was that $50, I guess?
It is nominal.
Okay. And then are you handwriting the letters? Are you just copying them yourselves? Are you using a fulfillment service when you were doing it, when you and your brother were starting out?
Yeah, you remember that. Yeah, my brother and I, we did it all ourselves. We would print them out, and then I would, don't know why I did this, sign every single one of them. That is not something I'd recommend.
Okay.
Because most of them just end up in the trash.
Okay. And so you've got, the one thing you have to do is you've got to start with a list, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, a big easy one is pre-foreclosures to start with, right? And then you're saying, but you want to stack, you want to get a little more niche than just someone in pre-foreclosure.
Well, I mean, I realized in San Diego that I had to. Some markets, I mean, it's always a numbers game, but I wanted to increase my odds, and especially knowing the response rate was 1% or so with direct mail, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing this DIY, lick 'em, stick 'em to thousands and just throwing them out there. That was a lot of work for me, a lot of time, and it was even more money. So I wanted to make sure that the motivation of the person opening the letter was such that they'd pick up the phone and say, I got to sell, thanks for your letter.
Got it.
So definitely doing that. I would recommend, if you're looking for data, to use Property Radar. We don't have any affiliate link or anything to them. We just love them. I know that at Fortune Builders in the CT Homes office, that's where I learned about it. Eric B., my business partner, they used it to even comp properties, and they had access to the MLS, but it was just, they use the MLS to comp properties as well. But just the quick calculations, Property Radar has those functions that you can see the data right in front of you, tax records, history, all that stuff.
Okay. And does Property Radar give you lead list as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gives you, so it's an all-in-one system. Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right.
So I have a question. This is Wally. So when you send in those, let's make up this number 100 letters. If you didn't get any answer back or any calls, are you following up to the same people again after a certain period of time, or you change different category of people to send another 100, for example?
Right. So you start out with your 100 letters. What's your frequency? How many more letters are you going to send, and how often?
To the same people, yes.
To those same people.
So to the same people that were the code violations list that were facing pre-foreclosure, you didn't want to wait too long. I would do it every 2 weeks. That's the frequency I did it. Fortune Builders has a very specific way as far as timeline that they recommend you reach out. I would say it depends on the foreclosure process in your state, how frequently you want to do it, but certainly not every month. This isn't a slow thing. This is get these things out. If you're doing it yourself, Wally, I would recommend fulfilling some of those, but not too many, because many of them may come back and say, take me off the list. And then you've done it and you have to just throw them away. So if you have the time, maybe go after a list of 100. You can get that pretty quickly and cheaply inside of Property Radar. I've certainly heard of PropStream. We do some training on PropStream on our YouTube channel as well.
And how many letters would you send before you just, okay, we're done with that lead?
Seven, unless
7.
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. In fact, where is that check? Oh, I had it. Yeah, here it is. I got a check. Well, I'll show it to you guys later, but it's a check for the first deal that I ever did. And it was well worth it, because it was over $200,000, and it was just because I sent them letters.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So we can do our letters. We're gonna stack our niche if that's appropriate for our market. We're going to send it sounds like 10 days to 2 weeks, up to 7 letters, and then we move on. All right, cool. What else would you recommend? What would be the next thing? Talk about the MLS. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute, because you have a lot of experience around that.
Yeah, building relationships with real estate agents, understanding that as opposed to them, which is a stigma, I still think this is true, especially moving to Prescott, which is where I live now, and rebuilding my network of real estate agents. They feel like investors are scummy. Some people still have a bad reputation. So understanding they're your biggest asset or ally rather than your competition, working together to see yourself as a real estate solutions company first. This strategy is about a mindset and working with an agent. And you have to get the mindset piece first to understand that. I wouldn't recommend doing anything illegal. I've been a licensed realtor, so I got a referral fee for any listings that, I went to with my agent. So you team up, you go together to sit down at the seller appointment, and you present all their options, your cash offer, and then the listing, what it could potentially net. And then also, if they're interested, or they said, maybe I'll fix it up and I'll sell it myself, you can have that too. You just want them to see in the presentation what they'll be able to net, and you align yourself with a realtor. So that's the first thing to understand when you talk to them. There's a lot that goes into that. Again, Wally, I'd love to talk to you about that a little bit later too. You can bring it up to our team. I said this in the beginning. We're happy to speak with anybody who wants to continue to dive into this topic later. And I believe, Michael, you have that link, right?
Yes, and Rayana, you can put that in the chat box again. Yeah, and Patty had asked, do you mean 7 letters per lead? And, Rayana responded to her, but just to clarify, yeah, it's 7 letters to each of those 100 people. So each of them gets 7.
But I would encourage you, though, as first thing to start, not to disqualify yourself from text message marketing. And that's the reason I brought up Launch Control, because if you just go to their main website, and by the way, I do have a referral link, which would really, it's got some perks and cool stuff that go with it. But if you just look at their website, which I'll bring up.
Right, and doing text messaging is what's going to dramatically reduce your cost per lead. Yeah. Right, for those people. So, but you still have to start out with, who are you sending those text messages to?
Right. So we get all of our data from Property Radar nationally for all of our clients. We pull lists. Usually it's 10,000 to 30,000 every single month for each client in each market. Okay. So we in San Diego are pulling 30,000 every single month. But some markets aren't that big. You can't even do that.
Right.
If you can budget it, text is the way to go.
And then you're texting them. Okay.
So did you have another question?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, no, you go.
Yeah, it's just to say that, we've tried a lot of batch leads texting. I don't know if you guys heard of batch leads. It just wasn't that great. We found that in using Launch Control, they have this thing called the blacklist litigator scrub. Don't confuse that with do not call lists, because they do not scrub against do not call lists. But for now, that doesn't matter. I say that out of both sides of my mouth, because yes, of course, do your own do not call. We don't in San Diego. We'll still text message do not calls. Okay. That's up to you.
And when you get your list from Prop Radar, does it have their phone number?
Oh, yeah. So you have to skip trace that list. And I'm glad you brought that up, Michael. We do use bestskiptracer.com.
Okay.
And it's actually John Paul Kilduff. Many of you may know him. Yeah. He, along with Ethan Alakai, started that. And now John Paul Kilduff is the one who's really at the helm of that. So we use that. We love that. It really does give us 60% on average textable prospects from any list that we pull.
What's the name of it again?
Best Skip Tracer. And again, there's a couple things I would mention with using them. Just know that they're they're $99 a month, and it gives you effectively the ability to, I believe it's 8 cents. I know they gave us a deal, just like Launch Control. Actually, if you sign up with Launch Control, they say you get 2,500 monthly contacts. That means that you're going to pull a list in wherever it is, Property Radar or otherwise. And then if you pull a list of 10,000, you could probably expect by scrubbing that list that you'll have 6,000 textable prospects. But what do you do with the other ones? You call them, right? You'll still get the numbers. So you need to do cold calling and texting. But you might say, okay, well, the light package that's $297, I would have to go to the core package because 6,000 textable prospects. Well, I can give you the affiliate link that we have. They hooked us up real big here, and they gave us 5,000 monthly contacts instead of 2,500 for the light package, which I thought was pretty cool because we were the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
We were the squeaky wheel who were like, we love your product. We want to get in.
And any recommendations? Again, I'm looking at some of these numbers, and I get you've got to spend money to make money. And as we know, many people who come into these education programs, they spend so much for the initial training that when it's time for marketing, they're just like, I don't have it. You know, if we're looking, let's say $99 for Prop Radar, now $300 for Launch Control, you know, all that adds up to where, look, I can't spend $500 a month on all these applications and programs, although, you know, then how do we find the leads and get it done? Is there any in between that, you know, for text messaging, maybe that isn't going to be $300 a month?
You know, in terms of text message marketing, I couldn't really recommend any other platform because I've used most of those platforms you could probably mention right now. And the response rates were so low, I wasted more money than anything. And it's all relatively a similar price anyway.
Do you know what was different about them, that their rates were, you know, was so low compared to Launch Control?
Yeah, it's a lot of things. So I'll be brief about this. And just so you know, for the comparison, as I mentioned, there's this Launch Control training. You can see this on the right-hand side. But here's another one that we put out, Batch Leads Review. Well, that's when we used to use Batch Leads as the texting platform. And we've used Lead Sherpa, and we've used anything you could probably name, Text Magic, all that stuff, and Roar and all that. The biggest difference is this. The response rates that you're going to see with Launch Control are in the higher 90s, which with, for instance, Lead Sherpa, we were seeing 80s and stuff like that when we were doing everything right. But most investors don't do everything right when they're text message marketing. They just mass text this crazy amount of leads, and then that gets flagged as spam. So then it goes down even further to 60%. So they mitigate that by forcing you, and it sounds grueling, but they force you to click the button every time to send an individual text. And it's really fast. You just do this.
Yeah.
That's one way. And they don't let you say certain things, flagged keywords, negative keywords. And the negative keywords change a lot. And they update you with what the changes are and the ways to get.
What kind of messages do you send in your text messaging?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to pull up my account. So some of the messages. Oh, and by the way, these message templates I can give you guys too, some of them. So here's one of them. I'll just go into edit this. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Make it a little bigger. Okay.
I get close, I can.
Let me make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Thank you.
So there are things like this. Hey, I saw you'd listed blank a few weeks, and these are called spinner tokens. So it'll alternate between these words that reduces spam and increases deliverability. You know, any luck or how'd it go? If it's still available, you know, I'd like to look at some alternatives with you. Let me know. Anything from that to, you know, your property was listed, did it sell? So obviously we know what campaign that is, right? Launch Control initial failed listing, right? And then other ones that are just urgent, Sometimes we do that for pre-foreclosures. And then let's do this landlord one, just to give you a quick example. Hey, owning a rental is way more work than anyone expects. Maintenance calls, chasing rents. It takes a lot of energy/time. I'd be glad to go over a potential deal with you. Let me know. So, I mean, things like that. These are what our message templates look like. You can have the message templates that actually work for us if you guys choose to use launch control. And you can actually go to launchcontrolrealestate.com. I built a training portal myself that includes cringe. I was testing it, guys. That's funny. But when you go, it'll show you our trainings that we provide our clients for, but it'll also give you the message templates that we use. It'll pass on all of these things, 12 cents per text. I'm sorry, 12 cents per skiff trace, each record. And also you can join our community on Real Estate Funnel Systems and stay plugged in.
I have a question about that.
Yep.
About your. So I've used FreedomSoft in the past. I've had varying success on FreedomSoft, and I see some similarities here. Is this? Will you be able to? Would I be able to import leads to this platform if I wanted to?
From FreedomSoft to there, well, it would be
No. I have alternate sources of data for leads. I have multiple sources. One of them just happens to be RealFlow, for instance. And I have unlimited access, and I've got unlimited access to a few other platforms where I can get the names, whether it's pre-foreclosures, for sale by owner, what have you. There's many different categories. Could I import those onto this platform? Say a list of like a CSV sheet with all the, with like maybe 10 different categories that are relevant to, to what we do.
100%. Absolutely. So that it's just as simple as importing a list. You need to convert it to an XLSX file. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if you guys need any help with that, I'm also happy to help with how to do that. But yeah, it's simple. And then it breaks it down for you, like which ones are landlines. And then you can download the landlines exclusively. So just the phone numbers or the original or all. And that way you can take that landline list and give it to your cold call team if you have one, or you just set that aside. And then when it's time for you to smile and dial, you smile and dial.
All right.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's got to be an omnipresence approach. Plus, you don't want to waste the data for those that aren't textable prospects. Cold calling is essential. And those are really the top three that I was going to mention: text message marketing, Google ads, specifically video ads on YouTube, and cold calling. Those are the three that have worked time and time again. The only other one that I am not suggesting for you guys right now, because it's a higher barrier of entry, is radio ads, and we're doing radio ads.
Right. Okay. What would an intro level version of Google ads run? How much would you need to commit to be able to get some kind of response, do you think?
That's an amazing question, Michael, because it is 100% up to you. Literally, you can decide how much you want to spend, how much you bid, and then you can do the slow wait game, which has worked in terms of like conversion, what your ROI is. It's worked phenomenally. Okay. You could spend $2 a day if you wanted to. You could spend $2 a week. You could spend $100 a day. We're spending $253 a day on this stuff, but we don't need to. You would just scale this back. It wouldn't have been 300, right? It would have been 3. But again, when those hot leads come in, what's your ROI? How much are they worth?
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go back again to the beginning. So first of all, we have to figure out who we want to market to. And, it looks like just from what you said and what little things I'm seeing, it's, again, you're kind of stacking on different things of who you market to. So maybe it's, out of state board investors, right? Or out of state landlords, or pre-foreclosure. And I forget what you said. Code violations, right? That's a way. So you need to come up with your list, and you're either going to pay for it or you're going to have to go do all the manual research yourself. right? Those are your only options. Now you need to market. You need to start connecting with these people. So we've talked about you could do the direct letters, either fulfillment company or write stamp and send them yourselves. But what you're focused on, do you do any direct mail?
Not really, not anymore.
Okay, so you're focused on, you're doing text messaging, multiple messages, cold calling, those that you don't have the messages for, and then Google Ads that you just said. So, right?
Yep.
And all of these for your business, you've scaled it way up because of of the volume you're doing, the clients. So why don't you tell us about, you know, what your company does and how you help people and what you do that then they don't have to be the ones doing.
Yeah, all this, any point of any of this stuff can get confusing and overwhelming at some point. And the alternative to that, even if it's not, it's just time consuming. Outsourcing is always what I'd recommend. So what we did was we just began with a simple concept of, okay, for our own business, we need to take this off our plate. We can't continue text message marketing, Facebook ads, because we were doing Facebook ads too, and all of this stuff, because that was working in the business. So then we scaled by hiring VAs and then made a system out of this. And we have a team of VAs who we don't even call VAs. They're our employees. Like, they're like family to us. We treat them very well. And then we thought, well, why don't we do this for other people? Because we had investors asking us like, hey guys, what are you doing to close all these deals? Like, how are you getting all these leads? Especially in a season where leads were really hard to come by, circa 2020, at least for some of the people that I had conversations with. So we scaled it to be able to offer a done-for-you marketing service. Our focus is done-for-you marketing and consultation in the realm of marketing and acquisition. So we don't mess with, so if you think about fortune builders, we don't talk about, although we could, but we don't teach rehabbing. We don't teach how to build a business from the ground up, although we can, because we've been there. And certainly as a coach at fortune builders, that's what I was teaching. But we're able to be the solution for the right person who's like, you know what, I am able to scale this, let somebody else take over this side. Think of it as hiring a person to help with marketing in your business. That's what it is. So that's what we do. But we also have a lot of other easy solutions that don't involve a bigger price point. And that is, we'll set up launch control for you. That's one product we have. We also set up what's called Forefront. This is the CRM that we love. I mean, you can see all of the active leads right now in here. This is what my lead flow looks like right now. And it's all from launch control and radio ads and Google ads. Right.
So let's say I came to you and said, hey, Rayanna and I are looking to invest here in North Carolina. And truthfully, we don't want to do all the legwork. What would you offer us and what would it cost us?
So, well, it usually depends on what your goal is. Your cost is going to be based mostly on your budget. We have a management fee. You would be hiring an employee. So essentially all of those, the pricings and everything, if you guys want to like have more information about that, you guys can ask that. Please schedule a call with us in the strategy session. And then, you know, our team can go over all that stuff with you. And at minimum, you'll walk away with a little more understanding whether you move forward with refs or not, but you'll understand, okay, I need to budget this much. And if I don't have that, I need to work up to that, or I need to do it myself. But these are the steps that I need to take to get leads in the door and start closing deals.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
So, because it's really up to you. Like I said, you could spend $100 a day. You could spend, you know, $2 a day. You could spend $3,000 a week. The average person, I will say, that's in refs, that's a client of refs for our done for you marketing, is spending $2,500 on their marketing budget every month. And that excludes the cost of the management fee. So it's basically hiring an employee to manage your marketing and then paying for your marketing for them to direct the marketing dollars to get you leads.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Patty asked, how do I learn? This is well, you can speak to this because you've done it. How do I learn about outsourcing? So how did you find your people?
Yeah, I always love that question because I spent a lot of wasted time inside of like Odesk and Upwork and these other places, not finding consistently reliable people. And the one place that I have gone over and over again consistently to find like rock stars is onlinejobs.ph.
Onlinejobs.ph. Okay.
Yeah.
Is PH Philippines?
Onlinejobs.ph. Did I spell that correctly? Hey, there we go. So you can see, oh, I'm not logged in. I'll show you guys. This is my back end, all the conversations I've been having with VAs and stuff, the jobs that I've hired for. Where's my jobs? It's easy to post. Just post a job here. It's free until you want to see responses. And I think it's like 60 bucks a month, but you can cut it off. So you could pay for a month, put those ads out, and then as soon as you're done hiring, you don't have to go through onlinejobs.ph. There's no middleman. It's just you and this worker. They vet them. They say they're good. They have the scores and stuff. They're your employee.
Got it. All right. So Patty has a question, and then I also want to say, I know I cut you off before, so I want to make sure we get back to other steps you want to cover in your process. Patty's asking, what is a reasonable budget for marketing when starting out?
That's a really good question, Patty. It literally could be $100. If that's all you had, it's more important that you be consistent with what you're doing than you throw a bunch of money at it. Anything that you can reasonably sustain month over month over month, and that is the most honest and true answer. And if anybody tells you different, like you're hoping, spraying and praying, as opposed to we want to make this consistent. But I would say, just to be more concise with that answer, $500 minimum a month for marketing dedicated to your direct mail. Maybe part of that's something else. That's what I'd recommend.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So
You're welcome.
yeah, you're welcome, Patty. So yeah, is there anything that I cut you off from that you want to go back and cover now? Sorry, I took you.
No, I really appreciate that, because you're right. It is like there's a lot to this, but the simplest way like to get leads quickly is obviously a text message. I think that Mike can attest to that. I mean, heck, it sounds like you built your own text messaging platform, which is absolutely incredible. So we didn't, just so everyone else knows, we did not build Launch Control. We are not affiliated with them, except for the fact that we're the squeaky wheel, and they hooked us up with some perks when we refer somebody. But yeah, we just use that. And the only other thing that I was going to mention is, if people have any questions for me, keep asking them. No interruption, really. It's totally fine. I would just recommend looking into text message marketing as your main source, but understanding how to do it correctly. So we have free trainings online. I would definitely encourage you to go there to Real Estate Funnel Systems, our YouTube page. So this is our channel right here. And then click on the playlists and then check out what we have to say about Launch Control. Obviously, we go over a lot of different things. These are all our playlists right here. Talk about Flip Pilot, which is now, they changed their name to Forefront. This is basically what Flip Pilot is. It's our CRM that we prefer over any other CRM. So those are the tools that we use, because really following up with sellers, potential sellers, is still marketing. You're still getting in front of them. They could be a prospect, but you could lose them unless you continue, or they could be a lead, but you could lose that lead unless you're continuing to follow up with them, right? Until you get that contract signed, it doesn't matter. So this makes it easy to follow up with them, because you can put them in perpetual follow-up. I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of trouble following up before. That on the calendar to do, I'm tired after work. Believe me, I worked 60 hours a week for Fortune Builders. So that's full time. And I invested on the side. So it wasn't easy. I wish I had this tool when I was doing that back in 2013, 14, 15. It would have been incredible.
Right.
So
I've heard that when you're texting, don't provide your business number and information inside the text, that it's more just the message you're sending to them. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. Yeah. And I agree. The way that we do it, I want to see if I have one that I can point out easily. I put we're direct home buyers, not as an official title. I say I'm a direct home buyer.
Got it.
Because I am, right?
Yeah.
So no.
How many texts do you send? So we said 7 letters for a direct mail campaign. How many texts do you typically do to someone?
You know, that's a good question. The metrics on that are, the jury's still out on that particular metric. Like for every single prospect, the question I believe is, how many times are you texting that exact same prospect? And the truth is it's different for everybody, but for the most part, it only takes a couple texts for the majority of people to either say yes or no.
Okay, right, because that's something they can easily opt out of.
Exactly.
Right, and stop the text from coming versus direct mail. That's a much harder process for them to have to call you or email you or something. All right. Well, any questions before we wrap things up? We're coming to the end of the hour. Any questions from any of our viewing audience? I think Mike has one and Wally has one. Mike, you start.
Yeah, go Mike first. Yeah.
Are you using any of the Facebook like geofencing or geotracking? You know, where you pick an area, you put in a list of maybe 2,000 or 3,000 names, and within that area, are you doing that?
Yeah, so we used to do that not too long ago, and we found that it wasn't as effective because of a cost per lead standpoint, which is what we've been trying to get down. So we don't really do that anymore, but we used to, as we exported through the skip tracing, we'd also get emails, right? To see, are they on Facebook? So we deployed that strategy last year. This year, we have not done that at all because we're finding what feels good for us is that $25 to $50 cost per lead. And that's what we're seeing with everything that these 3 marketing methods that we're doing. So that was getting out of control to $100+ dollars cost per lead, or infinite cost per lead, because sometimes it didn't even work very well, or they would tell us to pound sand.
And
so
can I just clarify, Christian, what is a lead to you?
Somebody who expressed a very serious interest in actually selling their property, either now or in the recent future.
Okay, so every text message you send out, they're not leads. It's someone has to come back to you and say, yeah, I'm interested.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Great.
And I'll show you my KPI tracker.
And Mike, any more questions that you have?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. And then Wally, why don't you, while Christian's pulling that up, Wally, you had a question? Oh no, did we lose him?
Hey, Wally, you there?
I think he got disconnected. All right, well, let's look at your KPIs.
Yeah, and it varies from area to area and from date to date. We track these as every single week, week over week, for every client across the country. So this is 11/1/2020 to 8/21, obviously just a couple days ago. Just in terms of the total prospects sent, and this is only text, right? So that's 784,733 total, right? And this is the general from some markets like Utah, by the way, Salt Lake City. It's incredible. Their cost per lead is so much higher than Columbus Valley, Georgia, which is like $20. And Scranton, Pennsylvania, we have a client there. It's like $20 cost per lead. And Utah is like 200. So there's a big difference, but on average, this is the conversion rate. So essentially what's becoming deals, right? Which isn't too bad considering our price points, right? and considering 784,733.
But that's I gotta go, there's a sobering number there. If you scroll back up, 168,000 prospects gets you 525 leads. Like, I can't even figure out what the percent, I mean, that's so many decimal places over.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And that's the reason we do what we do, because a lot of people look at this and they're just like, first off, if you can do it yourself, get a good tracking system in place where you're measuring your KPIs. But secondly, if it sounds overwhelming, outsource it. That's why you hire somebody else to do it. But yeah, ultimately, our average deliverability rate is 88.16 over the since 11/1/2020.
And those 525 leads did not all purchase property. I mean, did not all sell you a property. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. So it's even less. So I just say this because I think it just is something people need to hear. You know, if you've made 3 offers and you're complaining because you can't get a deal, well, go talk to, you know, send text to 168,000 people to get 500. I mean, you've got to look at the numbers. It really is a numbers game. And Patty wants to clarify, Christian, did you say that you used Google Ads and found it was good?
Yeah, that's correct, Patty. Google Ads is an enigma. It took me a while to figure out what the heck I was doing. But once I did, I fine-tuned it. Literally, when I say a long time, it took me like 6 months to understand how to do it. I wasted too much time in that.
Got it.
They make a lot of money for me, so I don't understand why they make it so confusing to use. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any other questions, guys? I appreciate everybody who's asked, and also those who haven't asked.
Okay, Christian.
Yeah.
Just question. Followed by in the chat box, right? If the initial budget that you set up, let's say 500 a month, okay, for everyone that don't have anything, for the 500, what we can do with the system that you have right now?
So can you clarify your question? Because it sounds like you're asking, hey, if I'm looking to only reach out to 500 people in a list.
No. If I have $500 a month for the marketing, to match up with your system that you're using right now, what I should the element that I mandatory to have, let's say 2, 3 match with your system that you have.
Yeah.
Excellent question.
That is a really good question. So the answer to that is this is probably the second step. All of this is probably the second step. And the reason is because, sure, $500 sustainably, sure, every single month, could you get away with pulling one list of 10,000 and then nurture that list month over month? Yeah, because you can follow up for free inside of Launch Control, which is awesome. By free, it's still you're paying the monthly premium. Instead of that, so the answer is it doesn't match up. $500 only every month wouldn't do that. But what you could do with that, like I was mentioning to Patty, with the $500 is exactly what I did and many other investors, not just myself, when I was discussing direct mail, lick 'em and stick 'em. That money was mostly going to the data to make sure that I had good data. Because if you could have the best marketing campaign on the face of the planet, you could write it and it could be amazing. I mean, a literary piece of work. But if you're speaking to an empty room, it doesn't matter. You need to fill that room up with people who actually want to hear your message. So you need to spend it on the data and then refining that data. In other words, skip tracing it to make sure you're getting the right people. And then your messaging that is really good will work.
And I think, I know Wally jumped up. I think he was asking, so if you're not giving them like your business information and all, and they want to talk to you, then what information? But I guess once they're interested, they say they're interested. I mean, you've got their number. So how do you like go from the texting to connecting?
So what we do, and anybody can do this, is we use the setter closer model where we have an ISA, and then again, this can be you. These are just 3 different hats. You're text messaging them as the ISA, which stands for Inside Sales Associate. They express an interest in selling their property. Then you can say, cool, let's set an appointment. It's at that moment that then you set the appointment with your operations coordinator. Again, that's the other hat. Now we have an operations coordinator, but if you don't, it's you. So your operations coordinator right here, you can see in our account, gets these in. So Brad is one of them. Mark is another one. And these leads will get dumped directly into whatever CRM you guys use. Like I said, I like Forefront for a lot of reasons. And then we have a record. We just continue to follow up with them in it after we set the appointment. We try and push them to a phone appointment, by the way.
Okay.
Call them to qualify the lead to make sure if they actually really are interested based off what the ISA said. Understand their motivation, their expectation of value, and their timeline and their situation, right? So you just discuss.
So you set the appointment, you qualify them by their motivation, timeline,
all that stuff.
make sure they and what's the other one?
Their expectation of value, right?
Expectation of value. Okay, great. And then what's the third person or third hat?
And the third hat is just, let's say you're the operations coordinator. You say, great, man, this sounds awesome. It looks like we'd be a good fit to work together. You know what? We can make a trip out to the property, or I'd love it as far as the offer that you're looking for to get you on the phone with our asset manager. Okay. That's the third one. Asset manager is also known as the closer. He's the guy who's going to close the deal. And that is myself and my business partner, Chris. That's what we do and how we work it out in our business. So then it comes in here. These are my leads that are set for me to speak to. I'm taking all of the mobile homes, the commercial deals, the out-of-state deals, and that's my niche that I work with. And Chris works with the in-state San Diego deals with phone appointments. And our goal is to get them from here off of here. So the fact that this is blank is a breath of fresh air. We get them done quick. You know, you're lining up the rehabbing for sale, you sell them. Right now, we're not doing a lot of rehabs. We're mostly just wholesaling them. Okay. Oh, and if they decline our offer, we keep record of that. That's also important to know.
Okay. And we don't have time for this today, but I know then when you go to make your offer, you give them multiple options, right? You give them 3 options or 2 options.
Yep. That's where the iPad comes into play. We just have them sign the docs on the spot at the seller appointment so we can walk out with escrow already on alert, because we'll email it to the seller and escrow at the property. And before we get back to the office, escrow is open, get our contractors in there. So yeah. But mostly what happens is what? They don't accept the offer, guys. Okay. 33% close ratio is good, but that means that out of 10, there's 7 that you didn't close. So then the follow-up continues. And that's why we put them in, hey, they declined our offer. And then we follow up with them putting your hat back on, the operations coordinator. So it's back to the setter, as we call the setter, closer model.
Setter, closer model. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Well, any questions anyone else has?
About anything. I mean,
anything.
Any hair gel I use, guys, I could talk about that.
Andrew has a question.
Go for it.
Let me take this out here. I'm on multiple sources because I have horrible service in Northern Michigan. All right. So for me, obviously I'm looking to scale my business. Over the last year, I've done 4 deals and I spent $0 to get there. It was a buyer's agent reached out to me, a pocket listing, my photographer sent me something, and Facebook marketplace listing. So I want to take that and scale. I don't want to be doing 1 a quarter. I want to be doing at least once a month. How do I get my feet wet and get involved in these processes to turn the engine on and really start scaling my business?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Did you
I
have
love
something?
that because I just want to say this one thing, because this is where I think we sort of bifurcate, right? Andrew, you're showing how you just start out and do it one off. And now it's like, okay, now how do I scale to do the Christian level, right? And so, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, first off, Andrew, I think you and Audi and you know, people in your position right now would get great networking going on, because Audi, it sounds like Andrew was just like me, right? When I started, I did pay, right? I did send the direct mail, but it's like I said before, agent relationships and lick 'em and stick 'em yourself direct mail campaigns are the two places I would start out if I had zero money. And zero is a relative term, right? Because if you really have zero money, Andrew, right? Do that. It's relationships. So to answer your question, Andrew, which is a very good one, I agree with that. The first step is just to understand what your monthly marketing budget can be, because you can't go anywhere if you don't know that, and it has to be sustainable. Our marketing budget is $3,000 a month. It blows my mind that it's $3,000 a month, by the way, because I never thought it would be. I never thought we'd be in a position where we could do that. But all that said, I've done the 2,000, I've done the 1,000, and you scale it up, but you got to know where you can start based off of what your business bank account looks like, your liquidity. So I guess you have an idea. You probably already have some sort of sense. What would that be?
My budget?
Yeah. How much would you be able to part with every single month? Because let's face it, in the beginning, it doesn't, you could hear it's an investment all the time, but
Yeah,
a lot of times it just feels like you're parting with your money.
Right. No, and I think too, a lot of the things I've been doing recently to get the volume in my business has been a lot of the outbound marketing stuff. So texting agents, just random numbers, finding them off of Zillow or something like that, leveraging the Facebook marketplace. What else was I doing? Something else along those lines. But, taking that step and looking to scale, if we're doing a deal a month and getting minimum $10,000 from a wholesale, at least 10%'s got to be put to a marketing budget, if not more, to keep that engine going and keep it scaling. That's what I see.
Yeah. Well, what I would recommend also to do as you focus on whatever that marketing budget is going to be, and then of course, my recommendation, Andrew, it would be sign up with Launch Control. If you don't, even if you're using another CRM, I've used a lot of different CRMs, including RealFlow. I cut that not too long ago, so I did use it for a while. I would recommend using Forefront, but whatever you use, marketing with Launch Control, or really, it doesn't matter what texting platform you use as much as it does the way in which you're using it. Because like I mentioned earlier, and it was pretty rushed saying this, so I'll repeat it. I see this happen over and over again. Far too many investors just mass message people. It lowers their response rate, destroys their original investment from scrubbing that list, from generating that list. It destroys the time investment they put in it. So that's why I believe in Launch Control in particular. So I would recommend getting on there, doing a modest campaign. What does that look like? You could get a very legit list of 1,000 or heck, 3,000 people, 10,000 people even, for very nominal cost. The last list I pulled for was 30,000, and I spent $3,000 on just the list. You don't need to do that, right? Just use that divisible by, whatever, and come up with how much it would be.
Yeah, I think when you showed the numbers on your KPIs, that really clicked for me, because over the last week, I've sat on my phone and slowly but surely added numbers in one by one and sent out texts. And that took a ton of time. I budgeted an hour for it, and I'll get 20, 30 text messages out. Cool. Then set up conversations from there. But then when you look at the scaling, you're like, oh man, we sent 161,000 texts. We got 500 leads out of it. Yeah, it's going to take me years to do that at that rate. So It's about leveraging the systems to take over for me.
And Andrew, leveraging a virtual assistant.
Right.
Of course, there's a way to hire them. In my opinion, I've taken, I don't know if you guys know Mind Protein. I'm sure most of you do. way back in the day in 2011, when they had the idea for Mind Protein, it was one of the first things was the how to hire system that they had. I still use that. I've modified it, obviously, but I still use it, and it's worked over and over and over and over again. So I would recommend finding somebody. These are just a couple people I hired: Alyssa, Rosie, Daniel, and these people are rock stars, man. Absolute rock star. I don't know what I would do without them. And frankly, we only pay them like $4 an hour.
Right.
So that massive amount of texting you saw on our KPI dashboard, this is just what, 8/1 to 8/31, 168,000 just from the beginning in this month. Nah, man, your thumbs are gonna get raw like you've been playing video games, like I was playing Mortal Kombat when I was a teenager.
I have a question, Kristen.
Hey, Patty.
Do you have to come up with the list and provide them with that information, or, because I'm very new at this, so I'm not sure how this all works.
When you say provide them with the list, can you please clarify? Because I'm fine just showing you my process right now, if that would be helpful.
The list of leads.
Okay. So understood that it's the list of leads, but you said you have to provide them with the list of leads. Are you talking about launch control?
Yes.
Yes, you do. So
Okay.
you whatever your source is, it could be PropStream. I like PropStream. I like Property Radar better. You would just go on here, and then you pull your list. You just toggle these specific criteria sets, right? So if I wanted to find somebody in Chicago, Illinois, I'd add that to the criteria. And then if I wanted somebody in Chicago, Illinois, that it was listed for sale already, then I would put yes. And now we can see how many listings are for sale in Chicago, and there's 13,091. And then you can further distill that down to who you're going to target. Like, you know what, maybe I only want people who are married, I guess. I don't know. I won't put that in. Only people who are married, people, the transfer date, right? All transfers, whether it was the transfer date was this month, who just bought a property and now is trying to list it on the MLS for sale. They might be an investor, so I could find cash buyers, but we're looking for sellers, right? So you could just do that, and then you make the list just like this, okay? You name the list, and then you have options to export it. It's literally that simple. That's step one, getting the list.
And
Step
Christian, I
two,
see you're at Property Radar, but you've said PropStream too. So do you use both of them or just Property Radar?
so I use I've always used Property Radar for my business, and I would never use anything else. And I follow who's doing it successfully. CT Homes uses Property Radar, okay, and they always have.
Okay.
So I followed that success path, and it's never steered me wrong. I used to use PropStream nationally because Property Radar wasn't national. But now, at the beginning of this year, they launched their national servers. So now they have a national platform. So it's a really good question. So yes, we used to use that for our clients, but now we exclusively use Property Radar because we just think the data is better, period. In fact, we've done split tests, very, very expensive split tests to pull the exact same list from Property Radar and the exact same list from PropStream in several different markets that cost us tens of thousands of dollars. And then we messaged them, Property Radar in particular, and said, what the heck? Like, here's the discrepancies, and they fixed it, and things are running really smoothly with Property Radar. So we will always run those tests just to make sure we're using the best of the best.
Beautiful. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Great.
He mentioned acquiring a list or an area to obtain leads from or prospects from violations. And so I've had other people communicate about getting violation leads. So how do you, I mean, where's these coming from? The county of a particular location? Are they're in the system here?
So what is a violation lead and where would we get it?
A great question. It's really convoluted and a lot crazy, the answer, most of the time. But let me simplify it for you, okay? If you guys can see my screen, right here in San Diego, just San Diego, we're not talking about the surrounding cities that go by other names, which are still in the county, but city to city, it's a different strategy. It's a different story. I will tell you how I did it, then I will tell you how you should do it if this method isn't available. Maybe you saw me, I just Googled San Diego code violations. One of the first results was code enforcement. I can check the status of investigation. I can view code enforcement cases. So I go to the website, I view the code enforcement cases based off a set of criteria that I enter in right here: record number, date type, record type, status. So it could be anything from a barking dog to a house that is falling into a ditch, right? Where there's a hole underneath the property. That's an easy way. Hey, that's where I got my first deal, doing it this way and then mailing them after cross-checking them against foreclosures, okay? What is typical is a little bit more convoluted. And that is, you have to physically walk down to the county recorder's office and go in there and say, hey, I want a list of people who have code violations on their property. And they'll probably tell you to go pound sand, and you'll have to say, actually, it's public knowledge. It's my right to do so. And you have to have a little back and forth. That's the way to be successful doing it. And you can even search like code enforcement letters. There's things you can print off that'll cite the law, right? That says your right to that information, and they can't do anything but let you in, and then you can fish through it, thumb through it, and a lot of it's under the microfiche. So it sounds like that's what Mike did.
So basically, you just have to go to your local municipality and find out, is it online and searchable, or is it something in person that you have to go do?
Okay. Well, our municipality just closed second to COVID and large overwhelming illnesses and packed hospitals. So more than likely, it may be, this information may be online. You think?
Yeah, check it out.
Mhm.
Check it out.
Yeah, it is, and you'll be able to find out whether or not it is online, or you have to go in by searching your county and then like code enforcement case.
Okay, we can't go in. They closed all government facilities, all government systems. They closed the doors.
Well, what county do you live in?
Glenn County, Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
Okay.
This announcement was over on my email that they've closed all government. They closed the doors again.
As of 2 weeks ago.
Got it.
Well, here it is.
Well, you can see, yeah, he's just pulling it up right now, Glenn County, Georgia.
Okay.
You can report a complaint there, and there may be a place to actually look for it. Just like we did on the San Diego website. So,
all right. So we're wrapping up. So the last two, first of all, any burning questions before we move into our last things? Just look through. All right. So
hang on, Michael, hold on.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't real Zoomish, if you scroll to the bottom, a toolbar will pop up. Just hit chat and scroll back up. All the links that Christian has been talking to us about sharing, I've been grabbing them, and throughout the presentation, I've been dropping them in the chat box. So just scroll back up. You'll see a link to Forefront, to his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com real estate funnel systems. Also included onlinejobs.ph, and just everything he's been referencing. Again, right now, I will put his Calendly link in. I've dropped that a couple times so that if you guys want Christian's a really great guy. Don't be shy about scheduling a call with him. He's very techie, marketing geek, like brilliant genius, you know? So, and he's very generous and he's just a great guy. He loves to help people. So don't be shy about scheduling a call with him.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah, he can talk to you and help you work a system. And what I've liked what you've been saying, Christian, is find the budget that you can consistently commit to on a monthly basis. If anything, you could schedule a call with Christian to find out what would you do if you had my budget. I could do 300 a month. I could, you know, until I start to really get something consistent from that. What would you do if you only had? And Christian can help you with that. He's got a lot of resources. Okay, so don't be shy. And Christian, what I want to ask you is, if everybody here really wanted eagerly, which I think they all do, what you have to offer, what's your offer for this group right now?
My offer for the group right now is, you know, there's among everything that we've talked about, honestly, it's whatever makes the most sense for you. I've mentioned that if you're going to use Launch Control, use my affiliate link. It gives me a couple bucks a month. But the real benefit to you is that you get twice the monthly contacts and you get discounted skip tracing on every record that you use inside of Launch Control. Again, though, I mentioned the skip tracing. Each one of these, like Forefront, if you haven't even discovered Forefront yet, check it out because I do have an affiliate link for Forefront. Why? The reason there too is because you're able to actually go to our store and download every single one of our follow-up systems and our perpetual follow-ups completely done for you for free. And it's what we provide to everybody. So if you look at it, our store right here, you see you can just go to install and you'll find, you know, snippets and stuff, pipeline views, and everything that we use in our sequences and our communications, it's all there. So, and it's when you sign up with our affiliate link, you are able to actually use that. I actually sent that in there because the other stuff that I was using wouldn't get you those. So, oh, launchcontrolrealestate.com. Yes, that is good. Actually. So let me take back what I just said. But yeah, schedule a call with our team and look, we're here to help you. And even if it's not physically me, we can still connect later. I know Melissa Butts, I think that you were on a schedule with me a couple weeks ago from JJ's Mastermind. I apologize, the little guy, there was an emergency and I think you might know how it goes with kids. You know, everybody knows those little guys, they can't help themselves. So, so I do apologize about that, but I'm excited to talk to everybody. But if there's anything that I can do to help, that's really what my offer is. There's nothing really other than that. I mean, we can help you set it up, Launch Control in particular. We have a launch accelerator. It's called Marketing Launch Accelerator Package. It's $497. But I'd love to speak to you guys about something different. If you're interested in a position like Justin might be, Andrew might be, is closing deals fast on the spot like this. If you guys have an interest, message me in private, okay, about how to use the iPad and close deals on the spot. If you want to talk about that, I'd be happy to chat with you about that. I have a training that I put together. I actually can show it to you guys right now if you want a second. Not the training, but
is it on your YouTube channel?
It's not. No, it's completely different. It's called ultimatesellerappointment.com. And I'll show you the ultimatesellerappointment.com right here. It's the system that I use, and it, you know, you can read on about it, understand like what some of our clients say about it. And actually not this one, because this one, if you do try and purchase it here, it's $4,997. You guys, I talk, by the way, people buy that every day. So just so you know, but I mentioned this to my friends. I love you guys so much. Rayana, Michael, if you go to /join now, I put a training that helps you kind of understand what the point of all this is.
Christian here with Real Estate
And
Funnel
if you want to build it for
Systems,
yourself,
and
I tell you
welcome.
what
My
things you
partner,
need to
Eric
do to
B.
build
and
it
I,
yourself.
we help build the #1 real estate
Okay.
education company.
So if you watch that, it's a 26-minute training. It says 20-minute training. I'm so sorry. I went 6 minutes over.
Can you drop the link?
Yes, I can. So it's definitely not 4997. Okay, guys. So you don't have to worry about that. But I'll drop the link in here for you. If it's going to be valuable for you, take advantage of it. It also comes with a super cool masterclass where, Andrew, everything that we just went over today, I just teach you how to do it. So
Wow.
better closer model, the everything. In fact, I'll just give you a quick highlight of it. If we have just 1 minute, I'll pull it up. You guys will see the back end too. And then this is our membership portal. And this is once you do, is what it looks like. So it's a 5-day masterclass. This is essentially, it takes you through everything from the basics, okay? Vision mapping your goals and what the heck that means and what it looks like. And my ugly mug is going to be walking you through all this stuff. And I really hope that you enjoy listening to the sound of my voice. If you don't buy
This is the masterclass overview and orientation.
But it'll go over the applications, how to use it, how to set up your office system too. And it's not just me, it's also my business partner, Eric, where you're seeing how he sets his exact office setup and why, and how to use the iPad with your computer to transfer your due diligence over to your iPad, so you can have all your comps, all your presentation, and digitally execute contracts.
Properties and I'm looking through everything.
And then also the scale. So the scale part of it, you know, you got pulling back the curtain, how you maximize your leads. This is what we talked about, Patty. Pulling back the curtain in what you need to do to find a list that's going to get you, you know, the best results and how to manage that list. And then how to maximize your list, your lead flow management, pulling back the curtain then. All of them have RGAs, which we call action items, right? Revenue generating activities. Those are RGAs. And then it dives in, it takes a dive into the actual application itself. So I put all this in front of you so that for those of you who are in that
statement format,
where you're ready to scale and you're ready to close more deals and you're ready to market more, this would probably be what I would recommend next, especially the scaling guide where we teach you that setter closer model, which is my favorite part actually, scaling your acquisitions team. Eric walks you through that one. So he's going to take you through what it looks like.
SMS, text message marketing, or cold calling. So we're filtering.
So that's what I recommend. I'll shoot that. I'll drop that there right now for the ultimate seller appointment system. In the
Ultimate. Awesome. And last thing, Christian, time to wrap things up. And Allison, thank you so much, Christian. This has been great nuggets. Yeah, it has.
Yes, thank you.
If you were on a mountaintop, Christian, and you could share a message for the whole world to hear, what would that message be?
Other than Jesus loves you,
Yeah.
I would say that if you're gonna start marketing, first determine your budget and make sure it's something that you can continually do, because consistency is more important than the dollar amount or the frequency. You have to be consistent with your marketing.
Awesome. Consistency is key. That is the message we got today, loud and clear. Well, thank you. This was great. A lot of information. We may need to bring you back sometime just to go through some of the other stuff I know we didn't get to. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Says, very good. I feel like this is marketing coaching hours. By the way, yes, thank you. It is
Appreciate you, Audi.
Marketing coaching. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate everyone being here.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys take care. We'll look forward to it again.
Thank you.
Stay with us, Christian. Everybody else, goodbye, but stay with us, Christian, just for a
Thank
little
you.
wrap up. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, everybody else.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Get off, all of you. Go by. Get.
That happened to
We
me.
appreciate, we appreciate the platform. Thank you all.
You're
Wealth
welcome.
of knowledge was great.
Thanks,
Our
Andrew.
pleasure. Okay. I know you want to stay, Andrew. Go.
No, I'm just trying to find it. I'm like on my third device throughout this call.
You and
so.
I will be talking in a couple of days, and we will talk about this very
I'll
thing.
be at
Christian,
lunch
I have a
tomorrow.
sale for you.
Beautiful.
And this came perfectly for Andrew because
did.
I've been working with him, and he's pivoting, and he really is at a point where he's ready to put the marketing, he's ready to automate in a lot of ways. He's learned by grinding and doing the basics, wholesaling, rehabbing some rentals, but it's not been an easy process for him. He's been successful at it. It's mainly because contractors are dickheads. But other than that, he's pivoting and more wanting to focus on building passive income, and he just wants to put that on steroids. So definitely, Andrew, I want to encourage you to schedule a call with Christian.
Awesome. Thanks again, Christian. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Andrew, it's good to meet you.
Yes, you as well. Talk to you soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye, Andrew. Awesome. How'd you feel about how that went for you, Christian?
Man, I thought it was hilarious that, Michael's like, yeah, he's a tech guru. He's that. And then I'm like, I can't even get this thing to work.
It is Zoom. I'm telling you, it is us and Zoom.
Because that was going to go, I did that. And it was a lot quicker. When I was going through this on the iPad, and then I was writing responses. But